Alright, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is Why Men and Women Can Never Be Equal. This is coming from Jordan Peterson. Guys, really quickly, the title is crazy. Alright, I see it and I'm just like, oh no, like what could this really be about? Looking at the title, I guess a little more thoroughly now. Equal means same. Are men and women the same? Why men and women can never be the same? We're not the same. We're completely different beings. I thought we understood that from the 90s and late 80s regarding men are from Mars and women are from Venus or something like that. That famous book that was all over the place, guys. We have different goals in life naturally, I think, right? And again, women have different strengths, men have different strengths, and women are super good at certain things. Men tend to be super good at other things, you know. Are we the same? No. Is one better? No. We're just good at different things. It's fine, you know. I guess secondly here now, like my wife loves Jordan Peterson, has read all of his books, owns all of his books. Constantly watches his things, right? I've seen him maybe twice, and nothing has been crazy, guys. Nothing has been wild. And then when I reacted to him on one of my older channels, people in the comments were like, "Don't react to him because he's this," and I'm just like, I have to see it before I can say anything regarding it. You get what I'm saying here, guys? Like I don't see him as being a terrible person, personally. At least, guys. But all right, let's see where we're going with this, guys. Let's get it.
The overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. Now, do you want to equalize that?
Okay, I see where we're going. Yeah. Let's go.
What do you understand by equality, Sophie? What does it mean to you?
People being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Equality of outcome? How can that be? That sounds like one person is just blatantly losing. If it's a equality of outcome, like equality of like circumstances, not circumstances, but like situations, or the equality of you being able to be in the same room as something's happening, then absolutely. I just don't think that someone that is better at the task should bow down to someone who isn't. That doesn't make any sense, guys. That sounds counterproductive, illogical.
Well, so you're going to have choices and equality of outcome. What if people choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia?
The
Scandinavian countries have moved more towards gender equality than any other countries, and the personality differences in Scandinavia have increased rather than decreased, and the proportion of women who are choosing STEM fields has decreased rather than increased. So as cultures become more gender neutral, the number of women who choose STEM fields decreases.
What do you mean by STEM fields?
So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you let men and women make their choices, what actually happens is that they specialize in different situations. You don't get equality of outcome.
Could they not have been programmed to have those views from the moment we raise them and give boys Lego and construction?
No, because what happens is that as countries get more egalitarian, which means there's less programming of that sort, the differences get larger, not smaller. And the scientific data on that is clear, and most of it was generated by people who have a left-leaning bias, so you can't blame it on conservative scientists. It was a shock to everyone to find that out.
Sophie,
I think the difference between Jordan and me is that we look at evidence and we lean towards different theories. So Jordan's...
Yeah, that's called being a human, right? I mean, you are going to look at things through the eyes of your own biases. Yeah, that's normal.
Theory is very much evolutionary, you know, that there are inherent differences in men and women. Mine is very much more social role theory, if you like, and that men and women are taking on different roles due to the expectations that society puts on them. And like, there's nowhere in the world that women are equal, but Scandinavia has made the most progress towards shared parenting. That said, it's not done yet. There's nowhere in the world where this is done yet.
But it's having the opposite effect that the gender equality types predicted. Opposite, not the same. And it isn't a theory, it's actually data driven by tens of thousands of surveys and the best scientific literature on the topic. It's not a theory, and I didn't come about it because of my political perspective. I looked at the data. What it showed was that as countries become more egalitarian, the differences between men and women grow, they don't shrink.
Particularly interested in the ones presented, such as the ones by the University of Southern California, which discovered that change towards gender equality is actually being slowed by beliefs that are legitimizing social inequalities on the basis of sex. Like the analysis that was done by the American Psychological Society, which looked at 45 analysis of whether there's sex difference over 20 years. And its conclusion was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh, God.
That doesn't sound bad. That does not sound like a bad theory. Is that extremely plausible? Absolutely, that's plausible. If there's no outside influence, will you still? I never thought about it like that, guys. She made a point.
So it's my fault.
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different.
Right.
But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that, just out of curiosity?
No. The thing about it is, the people that generally are speak like this, I'll tell you right now, they are not for equalizing anything that doesn't benefit them. If that makes any sense here. Like, if there's no benefit to the person that's saying equality, 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 then they're not going to do it, right? I mean, think about it. Why would you want more jail time? Why would you want to make it so you don't have priority when it comes to the custody of your children? Like, why would you want to give up the concept of alimony in majority going to one way? You get what I'm saying here, guys? Like, why would you want to give up all of these things? Why? That doesn't make any sense.
What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not wrong. If a large percentage of women are choosing very specific jobs that are easy, let's say, and while a lot of men are choosing a lot of jobs that are risking their life, of course they're going to get paid for risking their life. Yeah.
A very simplistic analysis. And
what I'm trying to equalise is opportunity and choice.
Fine, let's equalise choice.
You agree on that.
But we won't get equal outcome that way.
Bro, you cannot talk over each other.
Fine, let's equalise choice.
You agree on that.
But we won't get equal outcome that way.
And I think that what happens then, nobody knows, because we've never done it yet.
We do know. We know what's happened in Scandinavia.
But it's not fully got there yet.
No, but it's going in the opposite direction that everyone predicted, and strongly.
I think one of the things I loved about Jordan's book, one of my favourite rules in Jordan's book is Rule 9, which says, assume the person you are listening to might know something you don't. Mm-hmm. And I think that in a country where men outnumber women by 2 to 1 in Parliament, in local government, where women's voices are not equally represented in media, where our education systems still are teaching boys and girls ideas of pink and blue, what I'm trying to do is work with...
You know what's funny about the concept of pink and blue? Guys, a soft pink used to be the color of like masculinity, like in the early 1900s, late 1800s, guys. It's funny. It was like the exact opposite, and then it flipped to like soft blue being a baby boy, right? And soft pink being a baby girl. such an interesting thing how times change.
Teaching boys and girls ideas of pink and blue. What I'm trying to do is work with thousands of optimistic, hopeful people for change.
Okay. Your boss called the gender pay gap a burning injustice. Is it?
Yes, it is, because there should be inequality of opportunity. But the one thing both of you haven't mentioned...
Okay. Equality of opportunity. Let's do it. I'm down for that. But the concept of like equality of outcome is such a weird thing to ask for. That's a terrible thing. Why would you do that? Right? Opportunity? Yeah. And if you win, you win. Right? But I don't want to see like, for example, equality of outcome. A woman bodybuilder goes in to the gym to do some type of competition versus a male bodybuilder. Pound for pound, the man is going to win. At that stage, or I say powerlifter, no bodybuilders, guys, because bodybuilders are weak. Powerlifters, right? The man is going to win that, because is going to win that competition, bro. Period. That's just what's going to happen. So equality of outcome would dictate that she should win, even though she didn't. Right? Now, equality of opportunity is the reason why she and he were in the same event, I guess, lifting together. If that's what you want to do, go for it. It would be really terrible, because then a lot of women won't have any trophies any longer if that's the case, guys. But all right,
it's the biological difference which unfortunately affects women's career prospects, whether we like it or not. Babies. And that does cause a problem. You know, if I were to take a sabbatical from a corporation for a while, it's going to set me back slightly. And it is a problem that biologically it's women who have babies, not men.
So the Women's Equality Party is the only party in the UK that's got policies around shared parental leave.
You're trying to change the
We're trying to change the outcomes, and also men are joining our party.
What do we think about equality? Will it ever happen, Salim?
I mean, men created the organization that this woman here is representing.
The outcomes, and also men are joining our party.
What do we think about equality? Will it ever happen, Salim?
Because I think we're going to become more cognitive creatures, and jobs are going to be more about mental skills.
Technology.
But then I've visited schools, and I work in STEM. I'm a software developer, and the number of women doing software development hasn't increased. I would have thought they would have increased more, but I went into secondary school to do GCSE IT stuff, and there's very, very few girls doing IT, and I was thinking IT is the future, and why are... The schools are pushing for more girls to go into IT.
Actually, representations in the media.
See, but what he just said proved the point that Jordan Peterson is making regarding the Scandinavian model.
Yeah, could be affecting such choice.
See, honestly, hearing this makes me want to go tell my daughter, hey, listen, it's time to now get into some type of STEM, period. That's what you need to be going forward for. And the point that was also made regarding as times are changing, we're going to end up getting into like a lot of like sit down type of jobs where it's all going to be mental versus mental, nothing biological in a sense, right? Or physical. When that happens, then absolutely, I can see a lot more women doing this, hopefully. But the Scandinavian model kind of goes against that whole thing. But I feel like I definitely want to tell my daughter that she should probably be doing this.
Choices.
One of the other things we want to do is to have a look at curriculums, to have more female role models, to encourage girls, because so long as we still see STEM as a boys' area that we're trying to get girls into, it's not going to work. We need to do the work we're doing on care, get more boys thinking about, nursing, teaching, more role models for boys in schools. That's the way.
But why would they do that? Those are jobs that literally pay minuscule in comparison. I just don't know why a man would specifically choose a job like that. Obviously there are men that do choose jobs like this, but the majority of men are probably never going to choose a job that's not going to pay them adequately. All right.
On programs like EastEnders, The Archers, that's helped them a lot.
Right. So, I have to draw things to a conclusion.
All right, guys. So here's the thing. I think this was a extremely productive conversation. Going into it, I was just like, I don't know how this is going to go. A little worried that we're going to run into some absolute wildness, but we didn't. That's a very good thing. I think points were made on all sides of this, actually. This was a really good conversation. Honestly, a conversation that I don't think many people could really have. I don't think that, to be honest, without name calling and all types of craziness. I don't think this conversation could really be had with normal everyday people. I don't think so. And that's unfortunate, obviously, because conversations like this definitely need to happen. And after hearing this, it honestly makes me want to kind of push my daughter towards something STEM oriented, right? I definitely am not going to push my sons to anything that's not going to pay them adequately. So the whole idea of nursing, unless they're traveling, no, not even that, guys. Maybe DRNs or something where it's going to pay them adequately and it has the ability to scale in income. Other than that, I will never push my sons towards anything like that. So that's not going to happen. But my daughter, STEM fields do absolutely scale, and that's a good thing. And honestly, I would say the same exact thing I just said to my sons, to my daughter. There are no barriers in my family, bro. Under no circumstance, if my daughter wants to do it, whatever she wants to do, she's going to do it. That's it. I will push her towards greatness by every single definition of what greatness could be. My entire household is extremely education focused, knowledge, life experiences. I just took my kids to NASA. They had a really amazing time, right? These type of things. Instead of for example, people are like, oh, I want to go on a family vacation. Okay, not me. I am not a family vacation type of guy, right? I am a family trip to something educational type of guy. We're going to, listen, maybe it's boring. We're not sitting on no beach, bro. That's never going to happen. We're going to sit in, I don't know, some random science-oriented, library-oriented, fine art-oriented type of thing. Everything is education in my household, guys. So if my daughter decides tomorrow that she wants to do something STEM oriented, I'm definitely going to push her towards it. But after this, we're going to have a conversation. Absolutely. She should be doing this, guys. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.